Hey guys, and welcome to another day on the shop. Today we will be working on, you guessed it, the Sierra 1500. So let's get to it. Alright, so today we're going to be looking at making sure these are snug, the top's snug, and I'm going to go through everything and just make sure everything is tight after the install of the lift kit. And then got a transmission filter that I need to put on and change some fluids. So we're going to go through that. Took this wheel off, was looking at everything. The brakes look pretty good. I'm going to need a new rotor whenever I do replace the brakes, because this got a lip on it that's pretty good. You can kind of see that, the ripples and everything else. So this rotor needs to be replaced, probably the other one on the other side too. As for right here, I know I need to work on the camber sometime, which I'm not sure. I'll have to figure that out or take it to a shop and have them do it. But looking around down here at everything looks pretty good. And well greased right there. That just needs to be wiped off. But yeah, I'm gonna hop up in the engine bay and make sure those bolts up top are nice and taut. These down here are nice and taut. Yeah, so that's what we're gonna do today. So the passenger side looks good. Everything's pretty tight. Everything's still here. Haven't had anything fall off yet. Good things. But yeah, I need to fix the camber on this wheel sometime soon, so I'm not wearing my tire down wrong. So since this wheel looks good, we're gonna hop on over to the other side. So. So I checked everything in the front. I still got to check the back. Put my little caps on, so that works. I had to use some makeshift Nissan bolts, but they work perfect to hold that thing on. I've also disconnected my battery right now, just because I'm resetting my TPS sensors, so that it's not reading that I don't have any, because the cool thing about these trucks is it does that. So I'm going to check the the rear lift and tighten them up, and then on to something else. So stand by. Alright, so we're back here. We're going to take a look at these and just tighten these up, because it probably shifted around a little bit. Yeah. Alright, so the transmission pan, that's what we're looking at. These look like 13mm bolts. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 bolts holding the pan in place. And let's see. You got this shifter linkage, which you pop off like that, and I've already done that. But then this bracket back here, I'm not sure if I pull this bracket off, if that would make it easier, because there's two Allen heads up top, or hex heads, well, not hex heads, star bits. But this little clip right here, if you pop this off, this thing should just slide out this way, if I'm not mistaken. But this bracket will still be in the way. So, I need to do some research real quick and figure out my solution so I can pop this thing off and change out my filter. Let's do that. Alright, so we're going to start trying this now. Hopefully these are 13, because that's what I got. Alright, so being down here, I removed this heat shield right here on the passenger side. It's two 10mm bolts. Removed all 16 of the 13mm bolts. Removed this. It was just a clip. My issue is hitting this bracket, which I would have to get up over the transmission to get to those Allen heads or whatever they are, and to pull the whole pan off, it looks like. The exhaust is kind of in the way. I'm not sure how much further I can get with this. I'm gonna try and see what I can do. There should be a magnet right here, so I'm gonna get that, clean that out. The filter should pop out and slide to the side. The gasket, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have to see if I can finagle one in there somehow. Probably come from this angle, put it over, and slide it over the other angles until it gets all the way in. And then I'll clean the surface and put them together. But as of right now, I gotta make sure all the fluid's out of here and see if I can move this pan anymore. So I'm gonna readjust myself and try not to get transmission fluid all over me.
Not been very good. He's not feeling very good.
Poor baby. Alright, so I've taken the transmission filter out, as you see it here. There is a plug in the transmission. Don't forget to either pull that out or leave it in, depending on how you feel about it. Mine's staying in because I don't feel like prying it out. But an example of the the Duralast, I was going to get an AC Delco, but I got the Duralast. They're almost identical except for some writing. Pulled the magnet out. It was quite nasty. Still kind of nasty. This is what all came off of the magnet. So it's got some wear in the transmission a little bit. So we are gonna get this thing back in and cleaned up and all the fluid out. So let's do that. Alright, and right now you can see through here there's little two red lines. That's my transmission cooler. I hooked them to the lines and put them in here, and I have about half a gallon of fluid in here, which helped out flushing that whole thing out. But now I have to get my little hand pump and pull the rest of the fluid out of the pan. So yeah, that's what I gotta do now. So let's get this magnet back in here. Alright. And then let's get this back in here. See if we can finagle it on in. Alright, so everything's buttoned up, the transmission cooler's hooked back up, the transmission is drained all the way, and the pan is put back on with the filter, and the brackets and the heat shield, as you saw, are back up. Now comes time for the lovely transmission fluid fill. So let's start filling this thing up. They say it holds 6. I got 5 in it. I just want to double check and see how it is, because I still got the cooler empty. I'm saying it's good, but might need to, I'm gonna crank it up, try it again, and go from there. Alright, so we're cranked. Run it through the gears real quick. Get that fluid flowing. Alright, we gotta check this thing as it's running. Make sure the fluid's where it needs to be. Alright, so we did it. We got it done. The level looks good. Oh, all new fluid. Needed it. Lift, or the filter's changed out. The lift is checked. Anything else going down that line? Not really. Everything's good. I'm gonna drive it tomorrow to work and check the fluid again and see if I'm missing any, or it's perfect, or whatever else. Yeah, so thank you again for joining in to another episode of The Shop. If this information helped you, give it a like, and please subscribe. There's more content, always more content. I have too many projects and too much to do. My dirty Camaro. So, check us out on Instagram, Teespring, get you some merch. Till next time.